Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey, everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I'm gonna go through just a little bit of thoughts here, go into deep thoughts in terms of why I think that January is potentially gonna be a pretty epic month in terms of stocks and probably in terms of crypto as well. We're gonna go first to do an overview in terms of what's happening to the market. I am seeing here on this SPY, which is S&P 500 index fund here, on the monthly chart, you can see that the scan level is drawn all the way at the bottom of the great financial crisis. And since then, it's been growing. It's been breaking one arc after another, backtesting one arc after another, breaking one arc, backtesting one arc to another. And each of these horizontal zones over here seem to be pretty important resistance, right? Right now, what have we been doing? Well, I'm going to zoom out here. We are breaking through this arc. Now, doesn't mean that eventually when I come back and backtest the arc, maybe at some point in the future, maybe. But it is also getting above the 1.618 foot level, where it got rejected here at the arc, just in October. Some might scream, oh, this is a toppy looking candle. This is a hammer top. I don't care about hammer top. Do you think it care about hammer top here in May of 2021? No. Do you think it care about the hammer top over here around August of 2017? No. Do you think it care about hammer top in December of 2017? No. These kind of candlestick pattern, top pattern, bottom pattern, don't necessarily work out. There's another hammer top over here. It didn't seem like it was anything that scary. So I think it back tested the 1.618 foot level here. It looks like it wants to go higher. That's my point. It looks like it wants to go higher. Now, there's a lot of things too. If you look at IWM is the Russell 2000 small cap ETF. This is the backbone of the US economy. The IWM is extremely cyclical, and it's a lot more cyclical than S&P 500. You're looking at S&P 500, just kind of going in a straight line overall. You do have some cyclicality to it, but because funds constantly allocate money to it, it's not going to be as cyclical as the IWM. You can really see IWM is going through cycles here, and it generally goes through about like a 3 to 4 year cycle. And right now, we're starting the beginning of a bull cycle here. That's what it looks like. Well, are there any indicators to tell you in case you can't really catch this with your eye, which I think is actually pretty darn obvious, would be one thing would be look at the monthly Ichimoku. Whenever you have a combining of the Tenkan Kijun or bearish cross followed by a bullish cross, that's when the bull market happens, when you have expansion of the Tenkan Kijun, right? So cycle number 1 here, cycle number 2 here, after a bullish cross and expansion, contraction broke down, back test the cloud. You have a bullish cross over here again, expansion of the Tenkan Kijun, cycle number 3, right? Contraction, expansion, contraction, broke down, back test the cloud here. This is COVID, right? Again, Russell 2000 is going to be extremely sensitive to cyclicality. So you had an ABC correction and a C correction being extremely brutal because of COVID. And next thing you know, it bounced back with revengeance, back test the cloud, and went up a lot higher, right? Started cycle 4. Now, you had a big giant downtrend here in 2022 that resulted at the bottom of these Ichimoku cloud here around October 2023, bounced right up, bounced from top of the cloud, and now we had not just had a bullish Tenkan Kijun cross here with a blue crossing over the red, you also have a katana. This is a generally very, very bullish thing. It's also causing expansion. Right now, the Tenkan is serving as support, right? What did we do so far this month when everybody got really scared IWM was going to break down? Basically, just backtested the Tenkan here. That's it. That's all it did. Breaking out, backtesting the Tenkan, so far holding, right? It's an extremely cyclical thing. Now, I happen to think that the next month is going to be pretty powerful. There are a lot of things I'm going to show you as to why. Now, I'm going to finish off and tell you, like, again, to look at cycles, you have the monthly bullish band expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, pretty much every single cycle, right? Right now, you have the expansion. So whenever it ends up expanding, it usually means that you have probably a lot longer to go. It is expanding right now, and it wants to go higher. Now, why do I think next month's going to be key? I'm going to show you the weekly chart here. I'm going to show you a lower time frame Gann chart. By lower time frame, I mean the weekly time frame. And this one I basically drew with the numbers 720 and 0.5. And what I'm going to see here is a pretty remarkable market symmetry. And what I end up seeing here is that it basically bounced from the COVID bottom, pushed through arc after arc, got to the fourth arc here, got rejected, and it's just been oscillating between this arc here and the arc down here for about 3 years now. And what are we doing? Well, I'm going to show you a little bit more clear if I get rid of the fib level here. Well, it's breaking through the arc, right, with energy, came back. Right now we're doing a back test of arc after we got rejected here at the horizontal line, which is the previous all-time high here. This is nothing unusual, right? Whenever you have a breakout, you want to back test it as support. That's exactly what it's doing, right? There's nothing unusual about this. Now, zooming into the chart here a little bit more, there are a few levels here that are extremely important. One is really the 0.786. That's probably the most important fib level. You have the 0.618, which is also very important. You see how it's serving as resistance here for a few months, right? Breaking through, where's the next level is going to be? 0.786, right? 0.5 is also important because you have a breakdown here. It came back test 0.5, bounced with a vengeance, right? And you had an ascending triangle here. We were break through the 0.786, came back down here. It didn't really hold there because it wanted to come back and back test the arc here. And now, so far, the weekly candle is still ongoing. It's got a tweezer bottom look to it. And so far, it's getting a little bit rejected here, 0.786 here. But I think it probably has enough energy now that it bounced from the arc over here to really push back above. Hopefully, it closes the week above that. And it's going to set up for some pretty important thing because you just broke through 0.786, tested the all-time high, came back down, back tested 0.76, and the arc again. If it's able to hold, if this area is able to hold, if the monthly chart, if the 0.786 here is able to hold, if it's able to close above the 0.786, then you're talking about some all-time high stuff here happening pretty soon. And this can happen as soon as January. This can happen as soon as January because you basically have an inside candle over here, right? It's meaningless, just means that it's consolidating in a range, right? But it's building up so much energy over the last year and a half that I think that whenever this happens, something big can happen. There's a lot of capitulation that's also happened here for last week. Big, giant volume candle. That's generally a little bit more of like a bottoming kind of signal here. When I saw that big, giant volume pushing through 0.786, but end up backtesting the arc here, I'm actually getting more bullish on IWM than ever. And all it takes just a little bit of volume to kind of come in again and reverse the whole thing, right? All it takes just a little bit of volume, and next thing you know, you can go from one fib level to like 2 fib levels above, right? That's all it takes sometimes. All it takes just a little bit of volume to come in and break, like how many fib levels, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it's just a little bit of volume and just breaks all that. There's a possibility where whenever a little bit of volume coming in, you're just going to end up breaking to all-time high and going to hit some of the levels up here above within a matter of maybe just a couple months because of what I'm seeing. Now, if IWM does well, that pretty much means that a lot of other stocks are going to do extremely well because IWM is generally think of more of like a risk on sentiment type index. It's not as like SPY. IWM, as I was telling you, is more cyclical, right? So it's going to be a lot more sensitive to cyclicality, and it's going to be a lot more sensitive whenever there's a lot of global liquidity that are coming, right? Now, there is a little bit of a concern a lot of people are kind of raising here. If you look at the M2 Global Money Index, a lot of people are getting worried, hey, the index is going down here. Does it mean that we have a decline in terms of global liquidity? Yeah, it's back testing a breakout zone. You can see that line over here. You have a resistance level over here that's lasted for about like 3 years now. You broke through that back in July, back in August, somewhere around there, and you basically just come back testing a level. There's nothing bearish about that. Has that happened again in the past where global liquidity came back and back tested someone to breakout? Yes, it has, right? Over there, right? And then the time before that, yes, it has, right? Over here, right? So there's really nothing entirely scary about this, especially Especially if you're looking at like a backtest zone around here, that actually is signaling that, hey, we're good to go now because they're already backtested level. So you can see that price can actually end up going up a lot higher because of that. So am I scared about global liquidity? No, because the US continues to print money. Quantitative tightening is over, right? This is the US money supply, and it is slowly getting close back to the previous all-time high. Is re-accelerating to the upside, right? Money printing is starting again, and it's starting to normalize to the same level that it did before, right? Now, China is also printing money. There's no doubt that there's increase in liquidity injection into the system, right? So I think global liquidity, which incorporates also Japan, incorporates the Euro zone and also Great Britain, it's doing a little bit of backtest, but I'm not really scared about any of this. Look at ARK Fund. ARK Fund is doing something absolutely incredible here. If I just look at the monthly chart here, you can see that the ARK Fund is breaking, basically backtests this ARK here and the angle here perfectly, right? And then it's just been running ever since. And it broke above the the Gann horizontal resistance zone over here, which is very important resistance here for a very long time. Broke about the 0.382 here, whereas it can gradually up to probably 0.5 and 0.618 next, right? If ARK Fund looks like this, how can I not be how can I not be bullish for what's going to come next, right? It just looks like a very, very bullish thing. If I just pull up the Bollinger Band here, if I shut down everything, it looks like it wants to expand the upper Bollinger Band on its way up. That's what it looks like it's trying to do. This is the same look that it had over here before the big giant run up, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen the same way. I'm just saying that things are getting really, really more and more and more bullish over time here. And that's not something to really get worried about here. I also think that the semiconductor sector is getting ready to run. The reason why I think the semiconductor sector is getting ready to run is because it was hitting some really important resistance levels. It was hitting the 2.618 level here, got rejected here twice, had a trees on top, had to come back to the 1.618, pass, right, with flying colors, and right now it's just stuck at the arc over here. It's stuck inside an arc, and you can see how important these arcs are, right? Push through an arc, backtest an arc, and then went up to the next arc, right? And here basically spent a long time trying to backtest this arc over here. So kind of came back a little bit closer backtest an arc here around COVID time. Didn't really quite touch it. But regardless, these arcs tend to mean something, right? The time before that, where the ended up getting stalled here was this arc. The time before that, where the ended up getting stalled here around this arc. So what are we doing right now? We're stalling at an arc. How many months did we spend inside an arc so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? How are we doing so far? Well, this consolidation is happening on declining volume, right? Do I think it's going to break out to the upside, or do I think it's going to end up breaking down? I wonder if there's something that can give me a clue here in terms of what could be happening. I do have a clue. What is that clue? That clue is a stock called Nvidia, which is the biggest capitalization for semiconductors, right? You can see that the Nvidia was also stuck at the arc here. Guess what happened though? Right? These arcs also important, by the way, right? Stuck here, backtest, fly. Stuck here, right? So and before that, this arc over here actually didn't really matter that much, but it's more this scan line over here. Here, the scan line also seemed to have mattered. But right now, what's happening right now? Well, it looks like it has pushed through this resistance zone over here. It looks like it wants to run up higher. It got rejected at 2.272 here briefly, but it looks like it wants to take off. Could it end up breaking down? Sure it can, but you're breaking above an important level here. I think the next level is going to gravitate to is going to be $355 up here on the Gann line up here. And that's where I think it's going to end up gravitating into. If that's the case, then I think the semiconductor space is probably going to end up breaking above this arc and go higher. It's going to re-challenge the 2.618 here. And then I think it's probably garnering enough energy to push through because he came back down and tested demand down here at 1.618. I think it's ready. Okay. A lot of things are telling me, like, I think January is going to be the month. I don't know. 2-year yield. Everybody's scared about the 2-year. I should probably make it a regular instead of a log. Everybody's scared about the 2-year. Well, it's underneath a flattening 20-month moving average. It's probably going to go down. It is experiencing a bearish cross over here at the Tenkan Kijun, right? and it's getting rejected here. The Kijun twice, probably going to get rejected here. The Tenkan, by the way, and the blue line. Where it's going to go? It's going to go down to the cloud, probably around 3.4, 3.3% of 2-year yield, which is going to ease financial condition. It's been forming lower high and lower low. Looks like it just wants to keep going down, right? VIX, what is VIX doing right now? Well, VIX just got rejected here very, very convincingly at the very, very thick monthly Ichimoku cloud, right? Everybody got scared in the 20s. Oh no, right? Right at the rejection zone right there. It got rejected here almost perfectly. Now, what is the VIX going to do next? Now that it's underneath the cloud, probably going to go down. Is there another way you can tell whether or not it's going down or up? Yeah, look at the 20-month moving average on the Bollinger Band. It looks like it's underneath the 20-month moving average and it's been curling down. It had a shot to go up, couldn't do it. Had a shot, it went up to like 65 here in August, just a big giant wick, couldn't do it. Trend is looking like it wants to go down further, right? So again, that's another indicator to tell me that I think January is going to be a pretty good month. Not even just looking at this, like when I'm looking at these other individual stocks on my stock list here, that also tells me like a lot of like really small cap speculative stock are looking better and better. Like for example, one that I've been in, QS, which is QuantumScape, big giant parabolic trend down, right? Is forming a big bottom over here. So far, you have 5 inside candles to this green candle over here, and so far, volume on these green candles has been picking up. And if you look at a weekly, something very, very interesting has been happening. It's been just going downwards, right? I think we're probably going to end up having a big pop here soon again above the upper Bollinger Band, because every single time when your Bollinger Band squeeze on QS on weekly, you end up having like a big move up, right? Sure, you got rejected because of some other stuff I'm going to show you here in a little bit, but then you end up every single time you have a Bollinger Band squeeze, you end up just having big pop, big pop, big pop. I think that's happening soon. If you want to trade this move, you can. I'm probably just going to stay and I'm probably just going to like slowly cost average down. I did thought about whether or not I should sell GME. I'm actually pretty bullish on GME. I had a separate video about that. I also think that January is going to be a big month for GME because, well, the other January back in 2021 was extremely bullish for GME. So I think seasonality wise, based on a 4-year cycle kind of thing, maybe there's going to be some big push up here, because the Bollinger Band is squeezing here, right? I just wonder, every single time we have this big green candle is always on big volume, right? Whenever it sells, it's going to be a small declining volume. This whole zone right here just screams accumulation. I'm just not, yeah. But anyway, it tells me something might be happening here. If I also just kind of look at the weekly moving average, you can see that the 20, the 50, and the 100 is getting closer and closer. They were resistance here for a very long time, and they're getting bunched up together more and more. And I think all it takes is just maybe another pop or two to try to maybe flip all these from negative sloping from a bearish trend to more bullish. I think I still have more time to accumulate. This stock probably would still end up, if I'm looking at this, sometimes all it takes is just one candle reversal of trend. This still probably looks a little bit more like like dead money, if you will. I don't think it's going to pop. But you never know, because if you look at another speculative stock, Zoom, all it takes is just one candle. All it takes is just one green candle, push above all these moving averages, back test 100 here as support, and it just goes up higher. Look at how bullish this chart is. Like it's forming a bull flag right up here. It looks like it wants to go up higher. 50 is about crossover 100. You're talking about Zoom here. You're talking about Zoom here. It's consolidating sideways here. Looks like it wants to break out in January. Like, what the heck is going on? If you're looking at like another very speculative stock that there was like, definitely signs is saying that, hey, it could go bankrupt here. Lucid. What is Lucid doing? Lucid has this big giant green candles over here, and it's pushing about the 20 and 50 month moving, 20 and 50 week moving average, and you have the 20 over to 50 here. You had a bullish crossover here. like what the heck is going on? And you bounce from that. The momentum is still there. Volume is still there, and it looks like it might have enough juice in January. And this is going to shock a lot of people. Like, look at Lucid go up 10% a day, 20% a day, going all the way up to around like 4.5 range, right? From $3, actually, honestly, from $2 all the way to $4. That's probably when you should sell. But a lot of people, like, there's a lot of short squeezes happening. There's a lot of increasing liquidity coming in. It looks like it wants to hit this major resistance zone here, about 100 week moving average. It's probably going to get rejected. I just don't see it not getting rejected. You also have the weekly bullish band right around the area. It's going to end up getting rejected there. But a lot of people will be like, hey, what the heck? January, Lucid's like pumping all the way up like 50%, 60%, 70%. Like, what the heck is going on? I think January is going to have these crazy things happen. I just, I'm just seeing it on the wall here. I don't know whether or not I'm right or not. I don't know the answer to that. Even Fubo like looks like it's maybe getting ready to do something here. You had a bullish cross here in 20 and 50. You have a little bit of a sideways consolidation here, but like these speculative stock, I would not be surprised if Fubo like bounced in January all the way from like $1.30 to like $2, and everybody's gonna be like, what the heck is happening? Like Fubo just jumped like 50%, kind of like it did over here. It's still underneath resistance. It's still not favorable. It's still gonna be like QS, a little bit more like a dead money, but I think that is trying because the 20 moving average is curling from negative sloping to flat here. All it takes just a little bit of volume. Maybe it goes to like $2, get rejected there. Maybe not. It maybe pushes up further and get rejected around like $3.3 and then come back and back test and go up higher, right? I don't know. All I'm seeing is like, I think January something might be happening soon. Even my favorite stock that I'm invested in, one of my heavier investments, which is going to be Sofi. If I can find it, I don't know why I can't find it. There you go. Even Sofi is looking okay. If I just simply turn off the Bollinger Band and go to a weekly here, you can see how Sofi basically has been wanting to consolidate up here for a little while to build up more energy to push through up higher. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like I have a hard time seeing Sofi just breaking all the way up like that fruit butter, because you have a lot of price history up here back in 2020, 2021. Right? We're finally entering that zone about $14. They're going to have a lot more price history here. We'll see how it reacts. Right now it's holding the bottom of that zone over here really, really well. Right? Right now it's really flipping this R code here into support. It looks like it's been doing that. So that I'm not sure if it's going to go down that much further, guys. I mean, I just think that right now is at a pretty good spot. It wants to maybe break up potentially in January further, and it's going to maybe shock a lot of people when that happens. And the more favorable that this would happen would be if IWM continues to beast mode. I think it has enough juice to maybe hit like $19, which is 0.786 here, before finding major resistance. We'll see. Like, I think it's consolidated sideways enough. I don't think it has to crash all the way back down. It's just not necessarily how stocks work, right? Just like over here, it doesn't necessarily backtest anything. You just go straight down. And this is one of those crazy speculative assets that it's just doing its thing. But maybe January is going to be like the month to get shocked here. We will see. And then I know another stock that a lot of people hate. A lot of people hate this stock. A lot of people hate this stock. And this is Alibaba. There is no doubt that this is one of the most hated stocks in the market. And even Alibaba looks like it's forming a little bit of a rising three pattern, where you have a big giant green candle here, all this happening in increasing volume, and you have subsequently three bearish candles that are engulfed by this big giant green candle. If this rising three pattern works out, and it looks like it might because of declining volume here over the last 3 months on the way down, bears have had their shot, and bulls are going to come back and take over. Whenever bulls take over, if a rising three is to work out, there should be on the next month in January a big giant green bullish engulfing candle that engulfs all three of these bearish candles, and that would probably help you push through the 0.382 and go up a lot higher. This is also happening with the entire like Chinese sector, to be honest. It looks like it's happening on K-Web. It looks like it's building a very powerful rising three here to potentially go up. Even if you're looking at the Hang Seng Index, the Hang Seng Index actually looks like it's maybe on the short term here to maybe break out to the upside here, because bears have really spent the last three candles here not really doing a whole lot, to be honest. And right now it looks like bulls wants to reclaim the 0.382 already. Now, I'm not telling you that this is a great area to invest in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think I see enough energy over the next 6 to 12 months to get back to the 0.786 here, around 28,000. I see that potentially happening, right? And that could be a confluent zone as this whole trend line over here. Maybe by like 12, 18 months, who knows, it hits this trend line over here and get rejected, and it just still doesn't make an all-time high, right? I don't know. I'm not saying this is an investment thing. I'm just saying that there might be enough liquidity to come in to push us to this level here. Now, if the Hang Seng is able to push to like up 40% to 28,000, that means a lot of the speculative Chinese stocks are going to go up a lot higher. And again, this is a trade. I don't want to make you think that I think this is an investment. But overall, I just can't really be that bearish on this chart here, on Hang Seng here. Higher high here compared to here, higher low here compared to there. Looks like we're on the verge of breaking about the 0.382 here again. And looks like we've just been challenging the Ichimoku cloud here for 3 months straight with the tailwind of the bullish Tenkan Kijun crossover here. I think maybe January we'll end up pushing through and back and test the 0.5 again. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Now, if Chinese stocks does well, US stocks is most likely going to do well. There's really only very, very rare periods, and these are extremely rare. Whenever Chinese stock does well, the US does well. I can't say it about the other way. I can't say US stock does well, Chinese stocks will do well. I cannot say that because that's not true. But for the most part, like 99% of the time, if Chinese stock does well, if it has an up leg, US stock also has an up leg. So because of the technicals here I'm seeing with like the Hang Seng, I really cannot be that bearish when it comes to the entire market, especially the more speculative stuff overall. Maybe starting as soon as January. I really do think that January is starting to be a month that could be quite epic. And if I'm wrong about the timing, that's okay. But I don't think I'm wrong about the trend. And I think that January could be a pretty bullish month based on a lot of things that I'm seeing here. Again, things I would like to see to really confirm that one would be the IWM closing about the 0.786 fib level. That would be a big thing, right? If it's able to do that, then I think it's gonna be pretty shocking whenever this happens. I've seen other charts here too that are telling me the same thing, but I don't want to be a little bit too redundant. Just want to show you the indexes, want to show you the macro, what I'm seeing, want to show you ARK Fund, want to show you a few stocks that I've been looking at, want to show you what I think Chinese liquidity is going to do. If you enjoy this video, hey, stick around. I got more where it came from. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. It's okay. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.